So one of the Fremen visit not the temple, the palace of the Duke. And I didn't understand why they gave the Fremen so much leeway when it came to security. Let's watch.
Sire, your leader has a knife. He won't surrender, sire.
It's a Chris knife. It's sacred to his people.
Let him
Okay.
pass.
Stop there. Hey! Hey!
So the knife is sacred to his people. I don't care. You're not
still a
bringing
knife.
it in.
It's
You're
still
not
a
bringing
knife.
it in. Yeah. You know what also is sacred? This gun is sacred. This ship is sacred. Everything is. This poison that I'm going to poison the Emperor is sacred. Here you go.
It's sacred to my people to put a knife to your chest. Like,
Yeah.
I don't care.
I don't. Yeah. Either you want to visit, don't bring the knife.
Yeah,
That's some
Just
terms.
step back. Just step back. Why are you doing this? Like, why are you doing this like power play thing where like I'm going to stand this close to you, even though you're clearly uncomfortable?
Well, I mean, the counter power play is you don't get to meet the Duke.
That's right. Yeah, so Stilgar. This guy's name is Stilgar. That's a huge risk because if you piss off the Duke and the guards of the Duke, if they get a bad feeling about you, well, now communications are cut off from your people forever. Just done.
Yeah. So if I need to do communication with the Fremen, I send a diplomat. You never get to talk to the Duke. We'll hash out the stuff that way because you couldn't play ball.
Couldn't play ball.
And then they let him in with the knife, and then the personal guard of the Duke says stop, and he ignores it. I'm
it,
sorry,
just blows
you're
past.
not. We're done with this meeting. I'm sorry.
So in the movie, they say it like Duncan Idaho. He's the guy that came here a month ago and figured out the culture. But then if that's true, then prep the Duke and the new security guard. Like prep Gurney Alec to let them know, like, oh yeah, their speaking distance is very close compared to what we do. So like, just expect they're going to be about this distance. It's okay. I'm going to put myself in between you guys so it'll be safe. Do that.
You could also do physical things, like I don't want him close to me, so I'll put my desk up there, and I'll have a literal like moat or barrier that he cannot cross.
Next time Stilgar comes back here, there's like a fire pit. Like, well, this is what happens. Like, yeah, you can't cross it.
Yeah.
You should have
You
listened
wanna-
the first
you
time.
You want to walk up to me? Well, too bad.
Too bad. There's a spike strip. There's a spike trap in between us. Like,
Yeah. Like a video game.
yeah, right.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Fremen is disrespecting the Duke left and right, disrespecting the Duke's security force left and right. Mm-hmm. You're going to pay a price. I don't understand. I don't understand why they let the Fremen do this. I don't understand why the Fremen wanted to do this. Makes no sense.
I mean, I guess on the other hand, if your leaders meeting for the first time, if you automatically put yourself below the other leader, that's your relationship from now on. Or it's going to be super hard to climb up. On the other hand, you're playing a knife edge game. You're playing some tightrope walking stuff. Because if you cross the line too much, and then say the Duke's culture was very sensitive to these insults, well, now you're cut off forever. Just done.
Right.
We'll talk to you. You will talk to your people in 2 generations.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Right.
You know, my argument is, if you want to do this power play politics, where you don't want to be seen as lesser, if you come out the gate with I want to bring a deadly weapon in, like it's either that or I submit. You've gone too far. Like you're swinging for the fences so much that you're going to fail that power play. But if you did something a little more subtle, you might be able to win that power play.
Well, heck, even here in the Earth, even here in our human culture, there are different cultures. Like if you come in with a weapon, that actually devalues your power because people view you and they're like, "What are you doing? Like, why are you bringing guns or swords or whatever into this? Like, we're civilized. We don't need like physical weapons to intimidate people that we're talking to."
Right. We let the power of our economy and our military is figuratively standing behind us every time I talk.
Right.
So the Fremen goes to this for the fences power play, wins the power play. It just makes the Duke look so weak. Like he's a pushover. You can do whatever you want. He'll just allow it. Like that's terrible.
But from the Duke's perspective, we're so powerful. We don't need to worry about your squabbly little power play things. It's fine, whatever. Like I'm on such a different level that you want to do these little in-person jostling stuff. I don't care. Like I got bigger plans here.
If that's the case, I wouldn't. If I was the Duke, I wouldn't even meet with him in person. I send a diplomat. I already sent a guy to do it. I'll send him. No big deal. I don't need to do it.
Yep.
I see what you're saying. Like the he's thinking the power imbalance is so huge. I don't need to worry about it. But he does say, the Duke does say he needs them to run the planet well. So he's like, the Duke is showing his hand that he needs them too rapidly. In my opinion.
True.
I didn't like the scene. I didn't like it. Felt weird.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, so the Fremen make a time compass. I didn't really understand how it works. Let's listen.
It's a paracompass. The moons here have a magnetic field, so a simple compass needle won't point north. Takes a clever piece of clockwork to sort it out.
So he says it's clockwork. Does that mean it's a timepiece? Somehow using some like inertial navigation unit plus time
I guess maybe
to orient itself?
I guess maybe, but let's break it down to like chronologically, as I said it. So it's a compass. So we're expecting magnetic fields, and so I guess on Earth we have an Earth magnetic field that points north to south, and then you have a little piece of little sliver, little needle of magnet that's also magnetized, and so it'll align itself to Earth's magnetic field, and therefore you can figure out where north is. And so this is a compass. I guess Arrakis has a magnetic field. Sure, okay, I can roll with that. And then Duncan then says that, but the moons have their own magnetic fields. So when they're whipping around Arrakis, their magnetic field is strong enough to affect where the compass is pointing, and so then you can't read it correctly. Now, I thought that Duncan said clockwork as in terms of like generic like mechanisms inside, but maybe you're right that clockwork actually means like timepiece, because if you know where the moons are at any given time, you can then weigh how important their magnetic fields are, and then you can like subtract it off, and then you get like Arrakis magnetic field. Maybe.
That sounds really plausible. So the timepiece is to track the moons, so the compass can compensate for the moon, where the moon's positions and the field it generates.
So if we know that the moon is at this location compared to where you are, then it's going to have a 50% effect. If it's on the other side of the planet, then it has a 20%, something like that, maybe.
I see. I like that explanation.
Although that means that the compass also needs to know where you are at all times.
That's true. It needs to know. Yeah, it needs to know where you are. It needs to know your lat long. So.
Yep. You know what? You would need a fancy piece of clockwork in there.
But then that means we have some kind of GPS location, which means satellites, which means internet tech kinds of stuff. I don't need a compass.
That's right.
Wait, I don't even need a compass because there's no cloudy days. I can see the moons, I can see the sun, I can see the stars at night. There's very rarely clouded. Oh wait, no,
you're
there's
talking about
sandstorms.
you're talking about like the age of, what is it? The age of ocean faring? What is this called? The sailboat times. Yeah, right. Like so during the day you can figure out the sun's rising from east to west, and then you're like, well, it's about half day, so it's right above me. So then that's I guess that's a really bad example. It's sunrise, so I know that's east, so therefore that's north, south. And then at nighttime, you know where the stars are, so you can navigate by the stars.
Yeah.
And so if there's no clouds, this is when you need a compass. Oh, sorry, if there are clouds and you can't see the sun, then that's when you need a compass.
Yeah. But I actually take it back, because there are no clouds, but there are sandstorms, and I guess they could last for days. So you're inside a sandstorm, and you're like, how am I going to orient myself?
You need a compass. Yeah.
So I like this. We need a compass because of the sandstorms, and then because of the complex magnetic fields of the moons and Arrakis itself, we need to keep track of time so that we know, so we can keep track of the orbits of the moons, so we can compensate for their differing positions. But then how do we know our lat long?
I have no idea. I'll also say there's another way that this might be useful. It's because when you're inside the city and they like close all the windows from the sun because it's too hot, how do you know where you're going? Because you're like inside a box. Like, how do you know, right? But if you have a magnetic field thing, then you can figure out where's north and south. Then you can navigate the city. So everyone inside there, they're like, I'm going north for a bit until I find the thing. Yeah. There's definitely no street signs. Like there's no like just drawn out map of the city.
Right. You're saying inside the city there are no signs. They just use the paracompass.
Yep. Because they can't see outside. They can't figure out where the sun is. They can't see where the stars are because they're inside that ugly city.
Which means if they don't have maps and they don't have signs and they don't have streets, they need a paracompass.
Paracompass, right? If I was underground in a nuclear bunker and I didn't have like a map, like what would I do? compass, I guess, right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. At least to orient which way I'm facing. There's definitely no way that I could have like a sign that says like the kitchen's this way.
Right. I guess now I'm thinking about for lat long. If you go to a place where you know the lat long and you can punch it in to the compass,
Okay.
and then it has an inertial navigation unit which keeps tracks of accelerations.
Okay.
It'll have some drift, but you can generally keep track of your lat long for say some period of time before it drifts too far. But if you can reorient, punch in the new where you know you are, then you should be okay.
So you're saying if on Arrakis there's like there's two big cities. You got the capital city and city, big.
Yeah.
And then if you like know the lat long of these two cities, and then you only really need to worry about going in between these two, then this inertial timing piece can figure out like, well, you're somewhere in there, that's fine.
Yeah. And so and the error you could probably calibrate like how much error do I have if I haven't repunched in a lat long for 2 days, then I get plus or minus a kilometer. So I know that's good enough for me to orient myself. I'm good. But maybe after a month, it's like plus or minus the radius of the planet. I need to go recalibrate.
I could see that working. It just would take a fancy piece of clockwork.
Yeah, exactly. The heavy lift. What is going on here? Let's watch the video.
Oh, this is a sand crawler down at the bottom?
Yeah, that's the
Or
same
like
color
a
for
mining thing?
Yeah.
Lifting ship. Oh, these balloons. Yes.
Ah.
Yes. Look at these balloons. These balloons expand, they blow up, and then they displace all the air. This is buoyancy as a lift. We fucking called it. We called this months ago.
Yeah. We talked about how buoyancy could be used to supplement lift.
Yeah.
And in this case, it looks like it's solely the source of lift.
Yeah. Imagine if this thing had thrusters pointing straight down. That would do nothing, right? Because you'd have a force up and then a force down, and this thing would just not lift at all. So in fact, buoyancy is kind of the only way this is going to work.
That's right. And you're not allowed to put engines out to the side because you're not.
You're not. Yeah, I agree.
Also, I'm looking at the volumes of these air sacs.
Yep.
And if assume that those air sacs are filled with vacuum. Okay, but impossible because they're not rigid. But say they were. I'm not sure it's displacing enough air to lift this heavy metal thing up.
Yeah.
At all. I'm not seeing the volumes required unless the atmosphere is like super dense here.
So I guess what is buoyancy force? It's the force that pushes up, and it's proportional to the density of the liquid that's being displaced times the volume of the thing.
I think it's like it's density of the volume. Density of the fluid being displaced times volume.
Oh, so it's exactly proportional. Okay, I'm good. I'm ready.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so here,
But, I mean, there's no fudge factor we can work with.
Oh, I see. There's no like multiplicative. Okay, it's exactly okay. So here we're displacing gas, which is not going to be very dense. So that's a very small number. I really don't see how this could work. We're lifting something metal
That looks
and
really
displacing
heavy.
gas. Not enough.
Right. So I would think the balloon would need to be absolutely huge.
Yeah, I agree.
And even if, say, the atmosphere is 10 times as dense as on Earth,
Okay.
I still
not
think
liquid.
it's insufficient.
I think it's insufficient.
Because look how heavy that metal is.
Yeah. No chance. But no chance.
And it's not, the air sacs are not supplementing some other.
Right. It's
downward
not a
force.
buoyancy assist. It's really no. It's supplementing. It's supplementing because we see at the beginning this thing can fly on its own. No. It's so wait. Here's downward. You're seeing this jet wash.
Yeah.
So it has some downward thrust underneath it.
Oh, yeah. And it's
Reaches
centered.
out with this grabby boys
Yeah.
and blows up the balloons. But I have to assume that these jets are off now.
Yeah.
Because if the jets are pushing down so that it can lift this thing up, then now that force is being applied to this thing down, to the crawler down, which
Right.
means the net force for this thing is 0, which means it shouldn't lift.
That's right.
You just increase the tension in the cables.
Right, which you don't want to do. So
Which
that
just
that
doesn't do
central,
anything.
that central thruster has to be turned off.
Which means we should be flying only off of buoyancy. which is just not enough.
I'm not seeing that there's enough there. How could we make it work? So
Outboard thrusters.
There's insufficient buoyancy currently, but it's supplementing some thrust we're not seeing. Is there a hole in the center of the crawler? No, there's not. There's no hole.
No, they're solid up there. You're saying if the gas could go through the middle, then we would also see a bunch of wash out here from the sand.
That's right. We don't.
Yeah.
And we see the wash disappear as it hovers over the crawler.
Because it's blown off all the sand.
Or it's blown off all the sand.
Or yeah.
The engine's been cut.
I don't know how this thing works.
I don't know. So if we keep going, I think we see it like floating and taking the crawler to the spice mining location.
I do like how it's super gentle on this thing. No shock to all these components in there.
Yeah. That's good.
But I don't see how this could work.
So those balloons look large, but they don't look that large. I mean, the crawler is very large compared to the size of the balloons. I would expect the balloon to be absolutely just huge, holding this thing up, because it's got to displace so much air. Plus, it's not even a vacuum inside, right? It's filled with something like helium to keep it. Yeah. So it's actually not the entire volume you're displacing. It's the difference between the densities. So it's not just the volume. It's got even bigger because it's not a vacuum.
Right.
Not seeing it. Looks too small.
Not seeing it. Doesn't seem right. Cool idea.
Yeah, cool idea though. This was interesting. At first, I thought that this didn't make any sense because we have all this high-tech stuff in the Dune universe. And then they're doing this like fairly low-tech maintenance work. I mean, look at this ladder here in the center or bottom right. Like, sort of is laid there. So it's not really sophisticated maintenance with like hangars and
it feels like not as good as a modern shipyard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where's like the structure here that you climb up and then you can drop stuff over?
Right.
It seems like everything on the top is lifted up by hand, climbing up ladders like this.
Yeah, and then you need like heavy lift cranes to replace large components. Don't see that at all.
Right.
But I guess maybe this is okay because I know in the Dune universe there's like the AI revolution. I can't remember what it's called, where they stopped using high-tech computers. And
but
so
I can still have a crane.
Like this still have a crane though. That's right.
This maintenance yard looks like a parking lot, and they're like, we'll just work on things out here. But like if I had a crane, I could lift stuff up and like drop it down and then fix the thing. Like,
right. And if say I need to re-up fluids in the crawlers, so I need to like put lubricants and fuel and different things. I don't want sand getting in there, so I need like a clean environment without the sand, so I
need hoses.
Lift the cap off. Put the stuff in and then put the cap back on. I'd want a clean environment to do that. Right? Why are we doing this out in the open?
That's right. Oh, also like during the day they need to stop work because it's too hot.
Oh, it's too hot. Yeah.
I need a hangar. Although I see in the second picture there's something here, some type of structure. But there's only one.
Maybe they don't they don't use heavy lift cranes. They use heavy lift balloons to move stuff into place.
That would do it. And we've seen here that it's super gentle, so
yeah. So you could like lift heavy components into place. Okay.
And it is consistent with their culture of like high risk stuff. Because like say one of these balloons pops, and now you have 3 out of 4. Like this thing's crashing down. They've just not thought about that.
Right. Which we will see later with the procedures for lift in an emergency situation. They don't really have that much redundancy, so they're just like high risk, little reward.
Right now, let's look at it.
Yeah, okay.
Worm always comes?
Always. They're drawn by rhythmic noises.
Why don't we just shield the crawlers?
So this was weird because like, okay, super cool Paul, because he's like immediately like problem solving. He's like, why don't we just shield this thing? I guess the answer is that the shields vibrate and it makes sounds and the worm's like, ooh, I wanted this. Okay, but couldn't we just put noise canceling on it? Like just point another speaker down with an inverse frequency waveform and inverse waveform, and then just cancel it out, just like a headphones right now. Like it's the ambient sound in the room from like air conditioning, and then I just put in the inverse waveform and it cancels it out.
That's
like,
right. So you could have an internal
they have
speaker.
music here. Like they got speakers,
right? Or even like thumpers,
yeah,
or something to create decoy sounds, sounds that the worms that don't like, so they stay away.
Yeah, gosh, man, imagine if you had a coordinated mission, I guess, for you sent a team to like the north of the planet, you sent a team to like the equator, and then you're like, okay, north side, you guys do your thumpers, equator, you do your thumpers. You just had worms going up and down all the day, and then eventually the worm's like, I'm tired, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, I'm tired.
I'm taking a break.
Yeah, so it seems like obvious. Equip the crawlers with sound defense, or if you can't equip them with sound defense, have separate vehicles that are also, and separate teams
distractor guys
that are doing distraction and doing all kinds of different sound defense. Since spice is so expensive and important, it seems like it would be easy to get the financing and the motivation to do that.
To do a little bit of engineering.
Yeah. So you spend a little bit of money on sound defense, so you save crawlers, which look expensive to me.
Which we'll see just in a minute here.
Yeah, this is just a picture. It's just they're big and heavy and expensive. Look at all the treads. How many treads is that? There's 4 treads.
1,
per
2, 3,
times
4.
Yeah.
But there's 4 in a set here, so that's 16. And there's 4 of these all together. 16 times 4, 64?
64. So we're talking 64 of these treads. That's just the treads. My God.
Yeah.
Plus all the staff and all the insides and the processing.
I mean, if this thing goes down, that's an enormous amount of spice mining time, plus the cost of this thing just to rebuild it.
And the people inside who've been trained up lose that. Loss of one is significant.
You got to keep this thing running at all times. And if that requires you to have decoy machines or to have noise canceling on the bottom, then do it.
Or even if that's impossible, patrols. Like, I know they have some sort of patrols, but like increase the patrol so you know where you just track the one patrol per worm. Just track the worm the whole time.
In fact, we'll see that.
Yeah.
Right here in their questionable procedures and how they run their spice mining.
Yeah.
Is that a worm?
Big one.
Okay.
You have good eyes. Calling crawler Delta Ajax Niner. Worm sign warning. Acknowledge.
They have patrols looking for worms, and this happenstance flying machine, which is holding the Duke, which is not even really supposed to be there as part of the mining operation.
He's like an unregistered flight.
Yeah. Sees the worm before the patrols. How
Which means
incompetent are these patrols?
That's right. The patrols are incompetent. They were unable to see the worm sign before the Duke, who has never seen worm sign before. He's like, is that thing we need to worry about?
Yeah.
Maybe we should call everyone.
Yeah. Well, did the patrol say no? Difficult to see.
In fact, we're going to tell the patrols to go look at it.
Yep. What?
Over.
Worm sign north and east of you. 3.7 kilometers.
Delta Ajax Niner, this is Spotter 1. Worm sign confirmed.
This guy didn't do his job.
Contact fixed.
Right.
Worm is on intercept course.
Why is he going over to fly over it? Like, is that worm sign? Let me go right over it. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, it looks like it's worm sign. Like, you can already tell it's worm sign.
Yeah. He doesn't need to be directly overhead to be able to track it.
Maybe his camera can only see straight down.
Also, does one worm sign mean no other worms are in the area? So who's now scanning for additional worms?
That's right. What if there's a second worm?
Since we're like hyper focused on the single worm sign, we're going to get blindsided by a second worm.
Sneak attack.
To your position. Contact in 5 minutes.
So what happens now?
They'll call a carry-all to lift the crawler. They'll harvest right up to the last minute.
Calling carry-all Alpha Zero. Ready for docking sequence.
Up to the last minute is zero margin for error. Things got to work perfectly.
Right, and I get you want a maximum revenue, but losing the crawler is a much bigger negative
Such a big
than
hit.
the positive of a little bit more spice.
Yeah, not worth it.
Where's management being like, hey, I know we want to keep mining, but let's make some good judgment calls out in the field and not lose the crawlers.
Contact 5 minutes. Over. Approaching from your east. Correcting altitude and preparing docking equipment. Copy Alpha Zero. Initiating docking sequence. Prepare to be airborne in 30 seconds. Docking sequence initiated. Brace yourselves.
Better be perfect.
It's why do we have? Why does every support cable have to work? You got no room for error.
That's right. They miss a single support, and then now they're three. This thing's gonna be tippy, and it's. I mean, I guess in principle, you only need 3 points to form a plane, but given the weight distributions like this, there needs to be an enormous tolerance for these things to be able to pull whatever this thing would have needed to. In fact, it is not going to. They have to abandon.
Right. So I guess if you can lift with 4, you maybe want 8.
Yeah, sure.
So that if one fails, you eliminate the symmetric other one, and you lift with 6 now. So you're still centered. One fails, you're fine. Like you want some redundancy. So if one fails, you can still lift and you can still center your pull force.
I mean, you don't need the redundancy if there wasn't an urgent need to get this thing off the ground. But there is. There's a worm coming. Like you have to have this thing work perfectly every time.
And even if there isn't like a super time crunch, it would just be nice to not have to like, oh, it's failed. I guess I got to go back to repair. Like, no, I can finish the workday.
That's right.
And then I can go send it to repair and replace it out the next day.
Yep.
But it's even, because this is such a time crunch. We're talking, minutes tops. Like, this needs to work. Why do we have no failsafe or backups? Hell.
Carry on. Unable to proceed. All call. Any carrier in the sector, please respond.
There isn't even another carrier that's nearby.
That's right. There's only one.
There's only one. No backup.
No backup. They don't have one on nearby standby. I don't know how far away the crawlers are from one another when they're mining, but they assign one to each. Okay.
I mean, would it make sense to even have 2 next to each other? Or do you need to always have like because if there's 2 next to each other, then if there's a worm coming, then it could attack either one of them. So you still have no redundancy. So I think if you have 2 crawlers next to each other, you need to have 3 carry-alls. There's always one extra that's ready to like hop in.
I think so. Yeah. So if it's one carry-all in isolation, one crawler in isolation, you need 2 carry-alls. If there's 2 crawlers nearby, you need 3 carry-alls.
N+1.
Always
need one extra.
Yeah. So here they would just immediately swap out.
Yeah. Got backup. I'm ready to rock. This is what I'm trained for.
An update. Over. Hydraulics are dead. We won't make it. You have to evacuate.
How many men on that crawler?
Crew of 21.
Our ships can take 6 each. It's still 3 short. We'll find a way.
This is Duke Delta 8-9er.
Now we're improvising search and rescue with the leader of the planet.
Gosh, yeah. That's Duke. That's the Duke's problem. Like he really shouldn't be doing that. Heroism is super cool and all, but what happens to all of your people if you die?
Right, and none of them are trained for search and rescue. It's not like that you can just like, I'll just get them on the ship. Like, dangerous situation, worms everywhere, sand, weather.
Yep.
You don't know who's injured.
Yep. Yeah. What if they need to do like CPR and they're like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess this guy's worm food. Whatever.
They're not trained for this. I can't see. They're picking up sand now.
7 men each in my ships now. Yes, Gurney, have our escorts throw out the shield generator.
Well, check out those comms though. The double comms. People
Super
can hear
cool.
him.
So they put redundancy in the comms.
into the mouthpieces. Damn.
I guess because they would want to hear stereo his voice. I have no idea. I have no idea whether you do that.
Well, what if one breaks?
Your redundancy. That's it.
Have our escorts throw out the shield generators.
Yes, sire.
And Paul, I want you at the back of the thopter. Guide them in.
Gosh, I can't see. I'm disoriented. The sand is everywhere.
Why don't they have goggles on? Why are they just blinding? Be
goggles
squinting,
on.
can't see anything.
They're not ready with the right equipment.
Yeah, PPE, super important.
Yeah.
Yep, this guy's like, I'm out. Like,
I'm out.
Never mind.
Contact in 2 minutes. Getting close, guys. We better abandon ship now. Protocol for a reason. We take one step out, they're as good as dead. Besides, we got a full load of spice. We can't just leave it.
Damn the spice! I want every
Damn
minute
the
of that-
spice.
That being said, I do appreciate the employees' like willingness to sacrifice for like the mission. You know, they are working too hard.
Yeah, I mean, they probably get a cut. So they want.
Or maybe
to,
they're expecting punishment if they don't do it right.
Well, that's true. That could be a fear-based.
Harkonnens were real not nice.
Right.
Crawler now!
Oh my gosh, it's chaos.
Something over here! Something over there!
Why doesn't he just whisper? Just whisper for just.
I can imagine. I'm on the crawler. I get off the crawler. Some kid is saying stuff I can't hear because there's helicopters and sound everywhere and wind.
That's right. That's
and
right.
He's like gesturing. I'm like, what does this mean? Who are you?
Yeah, that's right.
Who is the official rescue team? What am I?
That's right.
What?
Like you're not an employee. Who are you?
What? Yeah. They're probably trained up on like hand signals, you know, like this.
Yeah.
Mean, and he's just wildly pointing.
And he hands when it goes.
I would be like, what? What?
Okay. I mean, if I see the helicopter, I guess I'm running to that. Although
Running to the
that's not what these people just hung out near the base. Like, what would they think is going to happen?
So if they can see the helicopter from the base of the ladder, then Paul is doing nothing.
He doesn't need to be out here.
That his pointing is irrelevant.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh my god!
Especially irrelevant. He's in the sandstorm.
Right. Sand and ice.
Really struggling. Shouldn't have gotten out. Really struggling.
Now he's, oh,
Oh boy.
I mean, they were not ready for this. Somehow they made
Bless
it.
the coming and going of him. May his passage cleanse the world.
Look at that financial asset. Just
Yep,
gone.
gone forever. So not only do you lose the mining time plus whatever spice is on it, like the actual device, the actual like miner is gone too.
That's right. So that's not just that reduces your capacity to mine spice for many, it could be months, years, because finding a replacement, I don't know how quickly they're manufactured.
Oof. I mean, they're
So-
shipped in off world, I guess, right?
Yeah. And that costs money and there's downtime. I mean, there needs to be a serious debrief after this incident to be like, there was mess ups on multiple levels.
That's right.
Where we need to get our procedures down. We need to get our training down. We can't have this.
Honestly, Duke Leto might be the right person for it because like during the envoy, he was like thinking about the spreadsheets, thinking about the numbers.
true.
And so Duke Leto might be the right person to say like, we need to think about our procedures such that we don't have mistakes like this anymore. And
Yeah,
so
he
like
might be. Yeah.
operating this is a business and not cutting corners is actually the right way to make the most money.
That's right. And it's a sprawling business. We're talking logistics and equipment and huge amounts of staff.
Yep.
So getting this dialed in so you're not making mistakes like this, he might be the right person.
Might be the right person actually, right?
Okay.
The thing I thought about this scene was this worm, gigantic, right? And it ate this metal thing.
Yeah.
So one, like, how is it extracting energy? I mean, how does this worm live? Like, what other than humans? I mean, it eats humans, sure, if they're around, but they're tiny compared to this thing. There's no way can they extract enough energy to survive. So we haven't seen anything on the world that's organic that this worm eats. Like what is this worm's natural prey?
So I'm thinking on Earth, there are several types of energy sources in life. And I'm thinking these ones down at the bottom of the ocean where they have like a geological energy cycle that's completely separate from the sun.
Yeah, the thermal fence.
Yeah, the thermal vents. So they get that ecosystem gets its energy from the thermal vents, and we get our energy from the sun ultimately. So we're solar based, they're chemical based down on the geology. So this worm somehow has an energy cycle based on metal.
I mean, but without humans being here for metal, how did this thing evolve eating metal?
Maybe it eats, there's like lots and lots of ore in the planet's crust, and it eats the ore. And since this is refined, it's like we would eat fruit, but we could also just eat sugar.
I think we're too zoomed in. I don't think the worm cares that it's metal, because there are other times where the Fremen will put a thumper, and then the worm will come by and eat whatever's there, right? So, but I like where you're going. So maybe this worm lives underground most of the time, and it gets most of its energy from whatever's on the inside of the planet. But hey, if there's an easy snack, like I'll go get it, sure. If it happens to be metal, happens to be people, like whatever.
Right, and so actually now that because it tracks sound, the worm tracks sound, so it's eating things that make sound, which would be inconsistent with eating like rocks, because rocks don't move.
That's right.
So it can eat all kinds of stuff that moves, like metal and organic.
But then if it's eating things that moves, like isn't most of the planet kind of just empty sand? There's like little bits of people, but otherwise mostly the planet's just nothing, right?
Right. And
like what does this thing eat?
What could it possibly eat? Because it can't.
It's got to eat a lot because it's huge.
It's huge, and it can't be eating the machines because the worm would have evolved without the machines there.
Right. The machines are, if it can digest the machines, it's just an opportunity thing.
Opportunity thing, agreed. So there must be some, maybe there's under the sand, there's a whole predator-prey situation going on.
And then it just wasn't relevant for humans because we're just not a part of that cycle. Sure.
And the prey of the worms, the natural prey of the worms under the ground don't never actually surface.
And so humans who are bound to the surface, we just don't know them.
Sure.
Okay. I can be okay with that.
Still don't know why he can eat metal, but
maybe it doesn't digest it. Maybe it shits out the metal, but it's just like anything here, I'm gonna eat it, figure it out later, whatever.
I see.
Like alligators will do that, right?
Yeah.
They'll eat anything.
And so this worm is like a tube, and it just like, oh, this is not going to work. Through the worm.
The Harkonnens attack, and this is totally it's just blown coverage. Like you have the ability to defend it, they just didn't do it.
God in heaven.
Get everything with guns off the ground! Go!
Gotta react now. All the ships were on the ground. The right place that they could have defended. Hang on. Here, this is the place they need to defend. The spaceport. There's only one way into the star system, and it's right there. Like this is the opening that you need to defend. This is blown coverage. They weren't covering the places that they could have been attacked. And all they would have had to have done is keep a few ships in orbit, just hanging out by the space tunnel, and not like in front of it, because if in front of it, then the Harkonnens can see you coming. You just put them right on the edge, right behind the lip here. So Harkonnens come through the tunnel, and then they get attacked from behind. Boom, done. The planet defended. Like this is just blown coverage. Like planetary defense needs to be #1 priority.
I agree. And now that you're saying it, do they not have some kind of patrol reconnaissance system around the gate? So they're like, okay, maybe I'm not allowed to, I won't have perfect understanding of a surprise attack happening, but I'll have information so I'm not completely caught off guard.
If they have 50 ships on the ground, if they put 5 of them up here and strategically located such that they get first strikes, then that could be enough time to radio down like, hey, we have trouble up here, please get ships up. And then the Harkonnens are messing around, fighting up here. They're immediately dropped into a sortie. They're doing like dog fighting tactics while trying to clear up, and everyone on the ground gets time to get up.
Would you want to put a ship in front of the hole so that you could see through the tube and be like, there's activity?
Ooh, okay.
Or
so you put a ship not right in front of the hole, but you put it far away with like a long telescope, so you can see when ships are coming into the hole on the backside. You're like, oh, up, everyone get off the planet. Yeah,
and you would want that. You would want that ship there pretty much at all times.
Yeah, rotate people out,
so that the enemy would be like, that's always there. It's nothing new is going on if it's just always there.
Yeah. So either they could be like, oh yeah, the Atreides just put it there. It's nothing, and they'll come in, or they'll be warned off of attack because like Atreides are going to know we're coming. So this attack is going to be very complicated. It's probably not going to work.
So I didn't pick up on this when I was watching, but this is just an absolute dereliction of duty,
right,
by the military.
So the difficulty of defending a planet is that you can be attacked from all 4 pi angle, not just around you in a circle, like the entire sphere you can be attacked from. However, because in Dune they use these spaceports, these teleports, these space tubes, this is your single point of entry into the entire star system, which means this is the only thing you need to defend.
Right, and it's not a video game, so spawn camp.
Spawn camp. I mean, no, make it a video game. Spawn camp.
Well, I mean, in video games, it's uncool to spawn camp because it makes the game less fun. So we try not to do it. But here, this is war. Spawn
this
camp.
war. Yeah.
Spawn camp the hell out of it.
They don't spawn camp; their entire people will die.
Right.
This is blunt coverage.
The more you point it out, the worse it gets.
The worse it gets.
The worse it gets.
I mean, gosh, I guess you could argue that this is the first time on Arrakis and they haven't figured out. But then, how do they defend their home planet? They should be defending their home planet through the tunnel.
That's right. And even if it was a naive defense, that would be so much better than no defense.
It's like having a house. Yeah, that's right. It's like having a house and you put all your guards in the kitchen and no one's watching the door.
Right. And the guns are in the storage closet. And as soon as the door busts open, get to the guns. It's like,
get to the guns. Assemble the guns. Like,
we're done. We're toast.
Yeah. Yeah. This is really just strategically the guards aren't doing it right.
Yeah, and at a level that's just it's not just incompetent. It's like it's so incompetent. It's
so they do. There is an act of sabotage.
Yeah,
but it's not about this. This is really just defense incompetence.
That's right. Yeah, just straight up.
Straight up. No way to solve that. No way to rescue that. Yeah. Super cool though.
Yeah,
it's like this mixture of like laser beams. Like high-tech stuff.
High-tech laser. I mean, these are like precision, like cutting through the city. So you can hit like command centers and important infrastructure. I mean, incredible tech through atmosphere. You're doing like refraction stuff.
Right. And this beam stays tight in focus. It doesn't like splinter apart.
Incredible tech. At power levels that are good. And these,
but then also these kind of dumbfire carpet bombing stuff too.
Yeah, like cluster munition in that, like, I mean, it's not high tech, but it's decent tech, you know.
Yeah.
Requires some coordination. And then the next one, just they have these these helicopters, super high tech for this could be used for patrols on the planet.
Instead, it was on the ground.
In contrast, swords.
That's right.
What are we doing?
He even has this kind of pirate shirt looking thing.
Yeah, he's like, Arr.
Yeah, there's bombs and helicopters around and lasers, but I'm gonna man-to-man combat people.
Right.
It's just not a big enough scale to compete with the other things going on.
Massive in atmosphere, in space, in orbit scale of battle, and here we are, person to person swords.
It's like having a naval battle, and you're like, I'm gonna get on my horse and charge. Like it's your wrong scale here.
Yeah, it's weird, interesting. And then even at the army level, where they have like these huge groups of people who are supposed to be coordinating, they all have like swords and spears.
That's right, and it's this row of people and this row of people sandwiched people in the middle, but there's not even like people on the edges here throwing rocks in. Just throw a rock. These guys here, the swords can't defend against a rock.
Right. In fact, there's no combined arms. Right. They used to do that in the Middle Ages. They'd have archers and swordsmen and shield walls. They'd have to coordinate. Here we just have dudes with swords in a group.
Yep. Just line them up. Walk towards the other group. This is how like dance groups, like gangs that do dance offs. This is like we line up, you dance at me, I dance at you. We see who wins. Like no, you gotta dance from the side. That's the unexpected attack. Dance from above. And one more time, Duncan, Idaho, just charging up with these guys with a sword.
So these guys have taken command of looks like the landing pads for the helicopters, and looks like there's 7 people. First off, nobody's looking around. So
yeah, they're still mid-attack. Why are you guys resting?
Yeah, and they all have swords. They're not even looking. They have swords. They're not ready. What is this?
Yeah.
What kind of military is this?
He growls at them, and they all leave, even though it's a 7-on-1.
That's right. He points the sword at him. And he's like, "Get out of here!" Well, he doesn't say "get out of here," but he implies it with his grunt.
Yeah.
And then they just I'm intimidated. He's a big muscular guy. I must leave. Kill him.
Yep. Or just walk around and break one of the wings. Now I can't fly away.
I'll try to sabotage it before. So
yeah, right.
Yeah. Weird.
Cool though that the Harkonnens also have these blimp structures, which means they're also doing buoyancy as lift.
Yeah. That's super cool. Although this one does look supplemental. The balls are not large enough to lift the thing. So, but there's room underneath for vector down thrust.
Yeah, exactly. If there's a thruster pointing down here, nothing obstructing it, not a problem.
Not a problem. Yeah. Also, but those buoyancy balls. I mean, the first thing I'm shooting are those to degrade their liftability.
Exactly that. Yep. I wonder if this thing is an assist for if they need to land on different planets. Because different planets, the thruster may not be enough, so you do these assist things. I don't know, maybe. That's speculation.
Maybe it makes it a bit easier to land. So if these are troop transports, then I can dial in my buoyancy for particular planet atmospheres.
I don't want to land so hard that my troops land and they're my knees.
Yeah. And saving fuel may be more important than exposure. The other craft are in charge of suppressing enemy fire. These come in.
These are troop transports. They can afford to be slow and gentle, whereas the assault ships have already done their thing.
Yeah, something like that.
Maybe. I believe it. Oh, so while this is all going down, there's bombs and explosions and all the ships are being destroyed. In here, Paul's still asleep.
Yeah,
this is chronologically in the film. This is exactly in the sequence. He's still asleep.
Why is he asleep? I don't actually remember.
Isn't he supposed to be ready at all times?
Oh no.
So he had a rough day. Sleepy.
He's been ready all day. He just he's out.
That's right. He's been ready all day, just tense, just stressed out, all the time. Who might attack me? He's like, I just crashed. I just
crashed. Yeah. And so when the bombs are going off outside, he's in.
They burned him out. He got too exhausted.
Wait. Also, now I'm looking at the background behind his bed is where the bug assassin came from. So he has absolutely no phobia or I don't like that. This natural response.
That's right.
He's the bug is gone, so I can sleep here.
Fine.
No fear. I want a new room. Something a little more.
I don't trust
secure.
this room anymore. Yeah.
He's like, it's okay.
It's fine. I have no conditioned fear responses.
Yeah.
I've learned to feel nothing.
Yeah, that's what I've learned.
And then he gets kidnapped. He gets kidnapped.
Oh yeah.
And the guards are dumb or lawyers. I'm not sure. Lead them to the worms. Why not just cut their throats? They could be truth-sayers. I don't know what those are. We can say we didn't kill them. That's a childlike level of lying. It's
right.
we didn't kill them. We just put them in front of the car that was moving.
Right.
You pushed them. You did it. What are we doing here?
I mean, that's right. It's I didn't push him in the river with, cement boots. The water killed him. I didn't do it. He drowned.
Yeah. I didn't eat the cookie. Your hand's clearly in the jar holding a cookie. Yes, you didn't eat the cookie, but I see what you're doing.
Right. It's the truth sayers. It's implied here that there's some kind of they can cut through people's minds and be peel back to the truth, but they can be easily lawyered. What?
That's right. That's right.
What kind of truth-sayers are these?
It's like if I lie, they'll call me on it. But if I don't say anything, I didn't say a lie. Like, but
I did it.
You did the thing. You did the thing.
I didn't kill him. The worms killed him.
And worms killed him. I just left him in the desert without any water. Like, you killed.
Did you know he was going to die? I didn't know. I left it up to chance.
Henchman. Why? But it's not just the henchman. It goes all the way up to the Baron, because the Baron's like, he's like, I guarantee he said to the Bene Gesserit, like, I guarantee I will not hurt Jessica or her son. He's like, but we'll just leave them in the desert. Like, it goes all the way to the top of society that they do this like lie of omission. Like we just won't tell them that we did this thing that pretty much killed him. But like, I didn't kill.
Yeah, I mean, I can't. It's like school child logic,
right?
Where they're not technically.
I didn't poke you. The pen poked you. Like,
yeah. Well, please don't poke me with a pen. Get a marker. Poke.
Marker. It's not a pen.
Can we?
I didn't fail my exam. The pen did. No, that's you.
That's you.
You did. Go read a book.
I didn't fail the exam. Neither did the pen. The ink failed the exam. Okay. Can't trust the truth sayers at all.
Can't trust them.
This was cool. The Eco Station. They have this cool lore. Like they were gonna terraform Arrakis to make it like Earth-like. They abandoned it. But look at this equipment.
It's an old ecological testing station.
Yeah. First off, why would an ecological testing station be so large? Like, what are we measuring here? What are we testing?
They're going straight to execution. They're not testing anymore.
Yeah. So I would assume, like, measuring the atmosphere, you just have like devices up on the surface. You want to measure the surface. You do some digging and you measure that. No big equipment there. So the testing station would be like, we're going to test the terraforming procedure. So maybe they're gonna grab this atmosphere in this large area and like try to add moisture to it and see what happens.
The best answer I can come up with right now on the spot is that they had ideas of making underground caverns so that they can collect water. Okay. And this is like their first model of it. Like, if we make this cavern underneath the ground where it should be cool, maybe we can make a damp place, and given the shape of a thing, then the water doesn't evaporate. Maybe.
Okay. I like that. And then this is a testing of the process.
Yeah.
Okay, I like it. And that's why it's so big, because you need a lot of atmosphere on Arrakis to get water.
Yeah, I guess so.
I like it.
Yeah. Because if it's small enough, then the temperature inside the chamber can rise, and then water will evaporate away. So you need some minimum size so that it can keep cool enough to maybe.
Okay.
We're meant to tame the planet, free the water locked beneath the sands. Arrakis could have been a paradise. The work had begun, but then the spice was discovered. Suddenly, no one wanted the desert to go away.
So I understand that they didn't want the desert to go away because the spice needs the desert for some reason. So they don't destroy the desert. They don't terraform it. The spice is important for the entire empire. Okay. Are they not allowed to make domes? Are they not allowed to localize the changes? I mean, is the entire planet desert? I mean, is this a Tatooine situation?
I want one lake. I want one lake so that we can have easy access to water, and so that my people can go have like pool parties in the summer. Like, right. I don't need a mine from every square inch of the planet.
Right. So I could, and then say if I did make one lake, it would somehow poison the entire surface, which I find unlikely. But let's say that happened. Can I not create a dome? Where I create a dome where I have so my people who are doing mining in the harsh environment can come into the dome and they have a nice environment
relax
where they
relax
a little bit.
Yep, have a cerveza.
And
sure.
In addition, they found spice, which is super expensive, which means getting the financing to build all this infrastructure should be really easy. It should be actually easier now.
That's right. It's like saying we have found too much gold in this land to have a hot tub. Like, what?
Like,
the more gold you have, the easier it is to have a hot tub.
Yeah. Bankers would be like, can I give you money? Because I know you're good for it, because look at all the gold you have.
It was like, look at all the collateral you have, the entire planet of spice.
Yeah. So in fact, I want to get in on the game. Can I build stuff?
Can I build
help
that
out?
for you?
I want to cut.
Yeah.
Get me in the game.
Yeah.
Instead, they shut it down. That makes what?
Like, not only do we want you to get spice, we want to be mean about it.
Right. Why are we being mean about it? You get the best workers if you have the best working conditions.
That's right.
Make
There would be
tons of
so
money.
much perks. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
They would have like cafeterias where they gave you free food so you can stay there and work longer. Heck yeah.
So as I understand, like in modern day, the workers who go out on the oil rigs, they go out for like 3 weeks at a time, 4 weeks at a time or something, but they get paid a lot, and they get like, it's like they get lots of time off when they come back.
Yeah.
Like lots of money, kind of shitty on the oil rig,
Rough and hard for a short time.
but you get paid big and you get the perks of like these long vacations and different things. Like you could set up a system like that here.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that or you're just asking people to grind in the pain. Grind in the heat. You don't get to have a nice bath ever.
Right. You don't get to have a nice house. It's just gray and brown and not fun.
Great. Not fun.
No. And you're sandblasting your asshole to wipe.
That's right. But I guess if it's callous enough, it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. That's okay.
Paul and Jessica escape, and then they're found in the desert by the Fremen. This is our first interaction with the Fremen. And Stilgar, like, he has this religious belief, so he takes them under his protection. Here they are under my protection. And so I give you my word that he says this to Jessica and Paul, that they're not going to be hurt. And then he takes his crysknife, his holy knife, and cuts his arm. Okay, so he makes he makes a blood agreement, sure, right? Okay, the thing I didn't like is that everyone else does it. Like if one imagine if I make a blood agreement to like take care of someone's kid after they die, and then you have to cut your arm too, and your brother and their cousin, like everyone just has to cut their arm.
Right. Everyone's going to start to run out of real estate on their hands.
Like, they're cutting their arm. Like, there's only so much arm I have. Like, and imagine like someone's real dramatic about it. They're like, hey man, like I totally forgot my wallet at home. Can I borrow $5 for lunch? I'll give you my blood oath. I'll pay it back. And everyone else like, I guess I have to cut my arm too for this.
It's just $5. Can we not cut?
Like, yo, dog, like, can I bum a smoke? Yeah, blood oath. Like, stop smoking, please. Like,
And then on occasion, somebody dies from infection. They're like,
that's right.
Should we dial back the blood oath situation? I'm all scarred up here.
That's right.
Like,
you know, and let's take a blood oath about stopping these blood oaths.
Yeah, last one, final one. Oh no!
Oh no!
One.
Oh god!
Oh, no. The final blood oath. Oh no!
This now became a cult.
Yeah, Heaven's Gate.
Gosh, I would be so annoyed. Like, I'm here for hunting. Well, I don't know, hunting party, whatever they're doing out here.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not here to cut my arm. Also, like, they still gotta go around the rest of the day. Like, right? Like, this has got to be irritating as heck.
I gotta have bandages ready to go.
Right.
So it doesn't bleed everywhere. I'm like trying to find something. I'm jumping up and down on rocks and it reopens. Oh.
Oof. Oh boy. Yeah, this culture of like blood oaths. Like, if I make a blood oath, that means everyone else in the room has to do it too. Like,
yeah. But what if somebody disagrees? We're like,
you do it too.
You have to just do it.
Just do it. Just do it.
Just do it.
There's got to be people faking it, right? There's got to be.
Oh yeah, you would totally fake. You'd be like, yeah, boop.
A little slice.
Absolutely. And then sleeve back up real quick. I did it.
Yeah. I used the side of my knife, not the edge of the knife.
Right. No, that would totally happen because people would be sick of it.
Be sick of it.
They'd be sick of it. Absolutely.
Combat effectiveness down. Also, you're losing a little bit of your water, like, to the environment.
Oh, that's right.
Not worth. Just.
So you do a blood oath between two people and you spill a little bit of moisture because that shows that we're serious.
We're serious.
But it's wasteful for everybody in the little clan to do it.
Yeah.
So you really just need the two people, and only for serious situations for this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. Otherwise, you're dragging a bunch of other people. Imagine someone's like not paying attention and they're like tap on the shoulder, like what's going on? Blood oath. Like, I got a blood oath. I wasn't even listening. Like,
or somebody's not paying attention and everybody does the blood oath. Everybody thinks it's good, and then later somebody figures out, hey, that one guy wasn't paying attention. The blood oath didn't take.
Didn't take technicality.
Technicality. I'm out of it.
You didn't. Yeah, like you didn't have it. Not everyone signed it.
Yeah. So I like plant people in my clan who everyone does the blood oath, but some people don't. So I can
That's right.
enforce it whenever I want. So it's not real.
Just lawyer your way out of blood oaths. Ridiculous.
And this culture is so broken that the way they determine loyalty is by like knife fights. All I need to do in order to get full trust of the clan is to win a knife fight. You're vulnerable to spies left and right. That's one of my best guys.
One of the best guys.
He's young, he's fit, he's competent. He's lost
Yeah.
it.
You're one of us now. A life
What?
for a life.
What are we doing? We turned a loyal person who's competent and knows our culture.
Knows how to navigate the desert.
I killed him and replaced him of somebody of questionable ability and questionable
Also,
loyalty. What
I
is this?
replaced him with someone who's clearly a murderer.
Clearly a murderer.
He murdered one of ours. Also, and his mom gets in for free.
That's right. But why does the mom get? Doesn't she have to win a knife fight against
Someone else,
a
right?
Fremen lady?
Right. Yeah. Or anyone, right? She's like, that's my kid too, so that's like a half of my kill too. Whatever.
Oh yeah, women can never join because they can never win a knife fight against a man. It's totally unfair.
Is that this people's culture is messed up? That's messed up.
Like we don't have women here; they can't win a fight. Like, what are you guys doing?
Are you kidding? Women could be some of the best knife fighters. These people. These people, their culture.
Or maybe you don't want everybody to be a knife fighter.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Like someone's got to carry the water, right?
That's right.
Does that person need to be a knife person?
Or most importantly, somebody has to reproduce.
And all you need to do to join the club is kill someone. Like I could be a Harkonnen and just send my best knife fighter, and then they take over your group.
That's right. In
Like,
fact, I
it's
could
so
have,
vulnerable.
in my spy agency,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have a whole academy for knife fighting
That's right.
that understands how to win knife fights against the Fremen.
That's right.
So I send them out and they can win the knife fight because they've been training on it for years.
That's right.
They're my spies.
They've been training in counter Fremen knife fighting.
That's right. What are we doing?
What are they doing? And how are they going to fight well when one of their hands has been cut?
That's right.
They took the blood oath last night.
That's right. When you try to go for a stab, the knife slips out of your hand because the blood is so slippery. It's not a realistic scenario, but
So this knife fight, it happens in the day because they like waited overnight, and so like they like literally like slept on it. I thought about this like if I was Jessica, what would I do? Like I know my son has a knife fight in the morning, is like a big thing. Like what would I do? I would, because I'm not knife fighting, right? So I don't. It's okay for me to be tired. It's okay for Jessica to be tired, right? So I would stay up all night and just every like 30 minutes, 40 minutes, just look over at Jamis and just whip a rock at him. So that like Jamis is like, oh, just all night long, like I can't sleep. Yeah. He wakes up in the morning, he's like super groggy, super tired, and then Paul's like, poke, done, I'm in the club.
Yeah, I mean, you would sabotage like that,
right,
to get into the club. That's all you do.
All I got to do is have my son kill you, and you're gonna be super tired. Like,
didn't say anything about, disrupting sleep or playing funny games.
I didn't poke you. The rock poked you.
Yeah, that's right. I didn't throw the rock. I bank shotted it off the cliff. The cliff threw the rock at you.
I didn't throw the rock at you. I threw it towards you.
I threw it up.
I threw it
at the sky.
And then the entire planet Arrakis pulled the rock towards you. Arrakis attacked you.
Yeah, Arrakis attacked you. Wasn't me. I didn't do anything.
I didn't do anything. Okay.
So that is the end of Dune.
That's the end
Dune
of
2 is out. So, what's coming up?
Will Paul find an army from the Fremen to defeat the Emperor?
Why? Oh yeah, Jessica's pregnant. Why is that a big deal?
Why is that a big deal? What's the big deal that she's pregnant?
Yeah.
And are they going to get guns? Because that would be a game changer for this world.
Yeah.
They just one, like the people are knife fight and Paul rolls up with a gun and like, plah, plah, plah. Yeah, I'm the Emperor now.
I realized they had to get rid of AI, but there's no reason to get rid of guns. In fact, they didn't get rid of guns. They just mounted them. They have big guns on like ships and stuff.
Yeah, just get a small one. Yeah.
And then will we learn more of the Empire as a whole? I think there's a lot to learn there.
Yeah,
I know it's a big book series. Could be cool. All right. See you guys next time.